Yo, what's up everyone? AR Comics here, and today I'm going to be coming at you with another video review. I know you've all seen the trailer last week, everyone's hyped up about it, so I figured what better time to review it than now, but Morbius the Living Vampire. So, I actually bought this first issue a while back and I read it, and I put my review out on Instagram, but I really wasn't a big fan of it. I thought it could have been a little bit better, and I wasn't completely sure where the story was going, but after the trailer dropped, I said, you know what, screw it. Picked up the next two issues today, and I decided to give them a shot. Overall, not too bad, but could be a little bit better. Artwork's very good throughout the entirety of the issues, and I really like what they've done with the panels. They kind of have the art spread across the panels. It's not just kind of limited to a small little block. But anyway, today I'm going to be going over issues 1 through 3, and they're not going to be too in-depth because honestly there's not a whole lot of story, but we'll see what you guys think about it. So the story is written by Vita Ayala, sorry if I messed up your name, but first issue, not too bad. I think it made it a lot easier reading the first three in order. It kind of made the story a little bit better for me, I think. But this first issue kind of set the groundwork for what the whole series is going to be about. Starts off, Morbius attacks like some compound of bad guys. They have supplies, like medical supplies. So he breaks in there, he tries to steal stuff, but in the process he's basically just killing and beating up the bad guys and then taking what he wants. But before he leaves, he actually gets injured, and that's what causes him to pretty much leave. So he goes back to his little lab / bunker, wherever he's hiding out at, and he's trying to heal himself, but ultimately the main purpose is, he wants to cure himself of the disease that he brought on. And he injects himself with what he thinks is to be a cure, and actually does. It cures him at first, but then it rapidly progresses the original disease that he brought on to himself. So he turns into like a super vampire, I guess, and that's where the story leaves off with him. But a new character comes in. You don't find out her name just yet, but she says to the bad guys that were at that compound that she's got the same intentions that they do, and she wants to get revenge and kill Morbius. So that honestly sums up the first issue. Nothing too crazy, and without reading the other two issues, at first I didn't really like it. But like I said, being able to read them all at once, I thought it was a lot better. So on that note, moving on to issue 2. Issue 2 wasn't too bad, not as much fighting, so it was a little bit slower and they really focused on the story itself. It picks up right where it last left off. Morbius is now like a super type of vampire, really thirsty for blood. He can't really control the beast within him, and you kind of see him, he's changing a little bit, and he can't really control it. But before he even leaves the apartment or wherever he's at, the brand new character busts in with the leader of the bad guys from that compound, and you find out her name is Elizabeth. You don't exactly know who she is at first, but eventually, a little bit later in the issue, you find out it's Emil's sister, his associate or his partner. It was his partner. Sorry about that. So his partner from his origin story. He ends up killing him, and now his sister wants revenge on Morbius. So we find out who that is, and he gets hurt. He gets hurt pretty bad because she's prepared to fight him. He leaves his apartment and makes his way to a new lab to try and get medical supplies, try to, still figure out a cure. Kills a few people along the way, and basically that's the whole issue. Those people he tried killing at the lab, though, they set off an alarm, and Spider-Man came in at the very end of the issue. So I thought that was cool too. Overall, I thought issue 2, I'm not sure if it was better than issue 1, but I think the story progression and the story itself was better than issue 1. There was more action and more fighting and, blood and all that cool stuff in the first issue, but I think issue 2 did a good job progressing the story. Issue 3, now this issue to me was definitely the slowest one of the 3. Not as good, and I kind of thought it was going to take a different path once Spider-Man came into the issue, because they kind of set up that they were going to fight. But this issue starts off with them getting into like a small scuffle. But Morbius, because he's still like that super vampire, he bites Spider-Man and he gets like a thirst for his blood. And he kind of realizes that Spider-Man's blood slowed down his now like progressing disease. And he realized that I need Spider-Man's blood to help me. I think that his blood is the answer. So kind of the entire issue is just Spider-Man helping out Morbius, doing science stuff to try and cure his blood. They go to Dr. Connor's like island mansion or something, and that's where you see the whole time. You learn a little bit about the backstory. You find out why Elizabeth is after Morbius, but that's it. And then right at the very end of the issue, Elizabeth and whoever she's with now breaks into the mansion, and you kind of see that that's where the issue left off, is that they're going to get into a big fight and go from there. So overall, I really didn't think the first 3 issues were all that special. But, since the trailer dropped, I had to pick them up, had to give it a try. I think the artwork's very good, but story's a little bit lacking. I think it could be a little bit better. But it's only the first 3 issues. I'm not sure how many they're trying to do, but I'm going to keep it going. It's not too bad. They don't come out too often, so need to get my Morbius fix somehow. But that's all 3 issues. I hope you guys liked my video. You can subscribe, like, comment. I would love to discuss it with you guys, see what you think of the issues. And stay tuned for my next video. So, have a good night.